Hello and welcome to Experience Share. It's Pokemon Podcast.
Pokemon Conquest Podcast.
It's a Pokemon Conquest Podcast starring me, Timber, a.k.a. Tanner Greenring, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Joshly Puff.
Jigglypuff. Classic.
I looked through the options this week, and I didn't see any real Joshable names.
No.
So I just went with the old standby Joshly Puff.
If we were using the Japanese warrior names, I could see some good options, but I feel like we netted out that we weren't really sure if that's okay.
I think we decided last week that was probably insensitive.
Yeah.
After all these people are dead.
They are dead?
Well, yeah, because it's like...
they're samurai warriors, so they've been dead for... Yeah, so we shouldn't dishonor their memory. You're right.
This is a Pokemon podcast. We play through each Pokemon game, castle by castle, week by week. We are in an interstitial season between Black 2 and White 2 and X and Y, Joshua.
Yes.
I've got a little bit of a cold. I'm a little husky.
Husky, yes. I was trying to think of it. It's like very rustic.
I'm gonna ride the energy, you know. I feel fine. I'm hoping it'll kind of lend a little bit of gravitas to my part of the episode tonight.
I think so.
Do I sound like Morgan Freeman?
Definitely the closest you've sounded to Morgan Freeman than you ever have.
Yeah,
is what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a particularly deep voice, but when I'm sick like this, I really enjoy the privilege that it brings.
And respete for hopping on.
Yeah.
Some warlords would just not even get on the mic if they had a cold. But you're the kind of warlord who doesn't let that keep you down.
No, I have nations to conquer.
Mm-hmm.
I have Pokemon to catch, or what do you call it? Link
with.
I have Pokemon to link with, and I have nations to crush, and I have castles to raise, and other warlords, sub-warlords, to boss around, to delegate to.
Yeah.
All sorts of good stuff.
Your throat is raw from barking orders at these subordinates.
Yeah. Cha-cha! Train those Pokemon!
Do some development!
Yeah, they unlocked a series of new features in the game this week that we'll discuss as we go on, but ooh boy, they let you get into the weeds on the management, huh?
Things are getting a little complex now.
I love getting in the weeds on a management system. Hell yeah. Give it to me. Give it to me, Conquest. I'll take it. Can it be more mathy? Can you somehow figure out a way to incorporate more math? Because I would love that.
I'm sure you can. If you were really trying to game this warrior linking thing to get the best, possible Pokemon link.
Oh, I want to talk about that.
Yeah,
because
tough.
I did it a lot this week, and I couldn't tell you. I still couldn't tell you how it works and what happened to all those Pokemon that I linked with.
I had to refresh my memory in prepping for this episode so that I think I could explain it, because I also failed miserably at actually establishing a different link with any of my warriors.
Oh, you'll have to explain it to me. Well, let's start at the beginning, Joshua. So last time we took on the first 3 castles in the what's it called? Rensei region. The Tutorial Castle, which is our home base.
Aurora Nation.
Aurora, and then the Fire Castle Ignis, and Greenleaf, the Grass type castle, which leaves one other castle sort of in the immediate vicinity, Josh, that you tackled last week and I tackled this week, and that's Fontaine.
That's right.
The Great Castle Fontaine. If you haven't picked up on the puns yet, Fontaine sounds like fountain. Yeah. And fountain is where all the water Pokemon live.
That's right.
What's his name? Mitsunari? No.
Motochico?
Motochico is the guy who runs...
Oh, Motochica. Sorry.
Motochica runs the Fontaine Nation.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's water type Pokemon. What do you want? Of course.
You got your Piplups, you got your Whoopers, you got your Simipores.
Whoa, talk about Tokyo Hotel. I'm looking at a picture of Motochica right now.
Yeah. Tokyo Hotel's back, baby.
That's an anime boy. He's got 2 different color hair. He's got tattoos. He's only wearing, I would say, about a quarter of a shirt.
Got some big chains. This doesn't really seem like a great combination for a water castle.
Yeah, he does not look like a water trainer, but he does look like a badass.
Yeah, I like his look.
Fontaine, Josh.
It's got a farm and it's got a ravine.
Did you struggle?
Oh, no.
No.
Well, it's not
I feel
set
like
up
this
for...
whole thing, the first 4 castles are all part of like an extended intro sequence or like tutorial almost. It's very easy, and then once you're done with the first 4, you get a little bit of a like intro screen, like a cutscene.
Yeah.
That's like, and now you're playing Pokemon Conquest. Welcome to the game.
Yeah, and I think Fontaine in particular is not really set up for success because we had just done Greenleaf, so now we have grass Pokemon, and a lot of them were like one-hit KOs from what I remember in the Fontaine battle.
The water types, they're sort of interesting move sets. They're sort of interesting complications. Most of them have like bubble or water gun, and it shoots 2 tiles in front of them. So they like to line up the competitors and nail them both at once. They can also freely go into water, which they take advantage of a lot by like...
That part's annoying.
They'll sit 2 tiles back in water and shoot at your guys on the shore. So you kind of have to bait them into coming out of the water so you can actually like whack on them.
Yeah, similar to Ignis with the lava flows.
Yeah, there's one map in particular, the waterfall in Fontaine, where their little whoopers like to just kind of hide in the pools and never come out until you can kind of, coax them out. But that's it. I mean, that's pretty much all that Fontaine has going for it. So it crumbled pretty quickly under the great might of King Boo's recently acquired grass-type Pokemon from Greenleaf.
And Joshua's mighty Cottony.
I mean, not that Eevee and Jigglypuff or anything to sniff at anymore.
No.
Since they're required to be in every single battle.
Yeah.
They tend to gain a lot of XP.
Yeah, I do not love that mechanic, and I know that we'll get into the link thing in a bit. We haven't learned about it yet in this walkthrough. So you can change like who they're linked to, but in the beginning, you've just got Eevee and Jigglypuff, and you don't have to bring them into battles in like, if you're just going back into the farmland or whatever to like try to get wild Pokemon or maybe pick up a Warlord or 2, but any of the main castle sieges, you have to bring them both.
Yeah.
So,
which is, you only have 6 Pokemon or 6 warriors with their Pokemon. So that's a full third of your team. And as we know, Joshua, after Fontaine is Pugilis.
Yeah.
And Pugilis is fighting, and it's like, great. And like, even as you're going into Pugilis, Oichi's like, just so you know, Pugilis is a fighting castle, and we shouldn't bring normal type Pokemon like Eevee and Jigglypuff. And I was like, great, noted.
Yeah.
And then like sent Eevee and Jigglypuff away, and then tried to invade Pugilis, and it was like, you can't without Eevee and Jigglypuff.
Right.
Like, well, great.
Like, don't rub this in my face, Oichi. Like, this is your fault.
Yeah. But back to Fontaine. So here's where the game gets fun, everyone. When you start having to manage castles. Ooh.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Fontaine, once you beat Fontaine, it introduces some new mechanics. There's a guy named Mitsunari who's been pestering us this entire game. I actually don't know what gender Mitsunari is.
No, I would not say with confidence. Don't misgender Mitsunari.
They look sort of just like a kid with like spiky white hair. It's just all anime characters.
Their energy is sort of like Benga energy from
a little bit Benga
2, who we just dealt with, of just like
the Benga bus,
rambunctious and implying
snotty.
That you're a loser for like not delegating what your kingdoms do. Yeah, and it's like I don't know, Mitsunari.
Yeah, you tell me.
You tell me. All of you people need to tell me, because how am I supposed to know?
I'm the boss.
Right.
I'm the god king of the Ransei region.
Exactly.
You know? Like, don't come at me with this attitude. I'll feed you to one of my onyxes, you know?
I'll delegate you to do some dumb shit in some stupid kingdom on the edge of the
Yeah, you're delegating to clean up Pokemon dung now. Congratulations, Mitsunari. But yeah, they teach you about delegating. So when you have enough Pokemon in a castle, so you've got your 6-man team, right? That you're sort of like convoying from place to place to wage war. But as you're catching wild Pokemon and recruiting new warlords, you can go beyond 6. You can go up to however many slots you have in however many castles you've taken over.
Six times the number of castles.
Yeah, exactly.
More math.
So as you're accumulating warlords, you're sort of sending them to all the various castles that you've taken over. And then once they're there, you can delegate to them. So instead of managing all of those warriors and all of those Pokemon in each of your castles, you can focus on your core team and delegate the responsibilities to whomever. It's usually whoever was the head of the castle before you took it over.
Right.
And then once you've decided to delegate, there's a few different things that you can have those warriors and those Pokemon do. You can either have them work on training, which is what I have done across the board, which essentially just makes the Pokemon stronger and the links between Pokemon and people stronger.
Oh, you're a training guy, huh?
You can do searching, which finds new warriors. It makes warriors show up in the training spots.
Yeah, all of the farms or ravines or, whatever the training area is, the route equivalent in the kingdom can just have wild Pokemon that are unattached to a warrior, but then there's usually a warrior, hopefully. And if not, like, for example, if you were trying to recruit more water Pokemon, you might set that kingdom Fontaine to be on searching because you're trying to lure water Pokemon and their associated warriors. And it's likelier with that, but I think that's probably the worst option. Unless it was like you just literally need, a fighting Pokemon to deal with like a normal kingdom or something.
Yeah. And then the last one is development, which is you can set all of the warriors and Pokemon on finding gold.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't understand what the other part of that was. It just makes your Pokemon stronger without increasing the link.
Their energy. So like their like morale, their will to battle.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a will to battle system. All of my Pokemon are like horny to battle.
The little arrows is what their energy is.
Oh, well, all my Pokemon are always horny to battle. I don't pay attention to the arrows.
Up is good and down is bad. And pointing up is like their stats are up and they're going to perform better in battle.
Should I look? Let's see where my current Pokemon are at, because I have not paid attention to that at all. All down or neutral.
Right. So
in King Boo's army,
you can raise it in two ways. You can raise it by having your kingdom set to development, or you can also raise it by buying Panagiris, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The little treat that
I've noticed that
castle has a shop for, or most of them at least. I don't know if I can say everyone. But
I have noticed that, and I've also been ignoring that. There's a lot, so I'm bad at this game. There's a lot I don't know. Like, for instance, the other part of the development delegation is you increase your gold. I got more gold than I know what to do with because I don't know how items work. Like, I'm constantly picking up potions and shit in the levels because every time you defeat an enemy in this game, they drop a little gift package. Yeah. And most of the time when you start a level, there's a little gift package like waiting for you. And if you rest a Pokemon on one of those gift packages, you get an item. So it's like, I don't need potions. I've got 1 million of them. And also, I don't know how to use them. Are they held items?
Yeah. And then, so before you go into a battle, there's an equip option when you're selecting the castle, and then you can equip your items to all of them on. And then you use it like their little warrior ability when you're in the battle. So you like, when you're selecting them and then choosing what they can do. I think we talked about this in the first episode, but every warrior has a power up as well. Yeah. And it's like Jigglypuff or Oichi's is like Sweet Song, and it will make Jigglypuff like heal adjacent Pokemon and itself for like 50 HP. It's actually really good.
Heal move.
And Eevee's is like adds range to it. And so on that same screen, you can select that, or you can select use the item. So I think it's more, I'm more into it for increasing the energy of the Pokemon, but the gold is a nice side effect. So I usually have most of them set to development is my thing. And then I'll throw in training for like, I left a Magikarp in Aurora Nation. Yeah. So that one's on training because like I don't want to deal with like throwing the Magikarp into battle quite yet.
Yeah, I brought Magikarp into a few battles this week and promptly remembered why Magikarp is such a joke. Yeah. It's a joke in this game too.
Oh yeah.
They have not updated its moveset at all. It's just Splash. Well, then let's talk about Pugilis. Great pun. They just took the T off of Pugilist,
Yeah.
and that's the name of the castle here.
I actually did this one third, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, you did that one last?
Or actually, I guess it does matter because I got the mon that I needed to defeat Pugilis from Violight.
Violight?
Yeah. I think that order makes more sense because Violight has flying types in there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what,
mixed in.
it certainly did, Josh. It certainly did make more sense because the first time I went into Pugilis, I just got hammered. He just
Yeah.
hammered me.
I think all the Pokemon there are higher link levels too. So
They were higher link levels. He had me on stats, but I was like, well, whatever. It's the Pugilis Castle is a flag. It's like King of the Hill map,
Right.
where there's one big zone in the middle with 4 flags on it, and then a moat, and there's only 2 choke points that can kind of get into the center area with the flags. So if you can control the choke points, you just win the game, because if you have the flags for 5 turns, you win. And I was like, well, that's easy enough. I'll just like control the choke points. But remember that I had 2 normal type Pokemon on my team who die in like 2 hits from their big fucking muscle men.
Plus, the Timbers have low kicks, and I think it works with Girder's Wake Up Slap and Machop's Karate Chop as well, where if you're in that middle like part of the dojo, you can get knocked off
Yeah, you get
into the lower pit.
into the moat.
Which happened to me where I was controlling them and then I lost one because I forgot about that.
Gosh, it's hard. It was hard the first time. So then I obviously like called in the troops, like went into every single castle and figured out who my strongest Pokemon were and like sent them to the front line. So
Yeah.
if you've got like a castle stacked with Pokemon, you can go in and you can order them to march to whatever castle you want them in. So you can kind of build up a little bit of a front line. Like I was building a team in Ignis to take on Pugilis, which is like right next door. So I was bringing in all the Onyxes and all the
Ooh, Onyx. It's exotic.
all the
I don't have one of those.
the Carnivine. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Carnivine's a monster in this.
I can't believe
In a good
how
way.
strong Carnivine is. It's one of my strongest Pokemon, and it came that way.
Yeah,
It sort of came over leveled.
It came at like 160 link or something, I think, when I got it. Maybe even higher.
And that's strong for people who aren't playing along. It's big.
Right.
It's big and strong, but it also has levitate, so it can like go over any obstacle. And its attack is 3. It uses Vine Whip, and it's 3 boxes long, so you can attack 3 enemies at once.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's great.
He definitely came to that battle in Pugilis. But then let's hear about your journey through Violight.
Yeah, that is what informed my whole thing with Pugilis. And then I guess this is where we can talk about linking, because
Yeah, please tell me how
this is
linking
where
works.
it triggered for me, at least, when I went to Violight. This is where this dude, Kaiji, who claims that he was already in this. And he's like, oh, it's me again. I'm like,
I've been in the game the whole
fucking
time.
guy.
It was probably one of those 80 characters they introduced at the beginning of the game.
Can't keep track of who's who in this situation. It's the Mon, it's these warriors, it's a lot. So anyway, Kaiji shows up and he informs us about the perfect link that you can search for between warriors and their Pokemon. So this works where at this point it's unlocked.
Hey, I got a perfect link for you, guy. Let me send it to you. It's furaffinity.net.
Yeah.
How's that for a link?
You're gonna blow Kaiji's mind. And that's not all. Kaiji explains that every partner or every warrior has its perfect Pokemon partner. And so up until this point, it doesn't even mean that we have the best Pokemon for each warrior to have. So here's a new layer on top of this, where now when you go into a battle, you can click on a Pokemon. I guess a good example, because
so hard being the boss, man. Like now I gotta tell these people who they should be friends with.
I'm not a micromanager.
Yeah.
So this is tough. I love it. I don't like getting up in my people's business, but I have to here.
Yeah, they can't do anything by themselves.
No, they're completely lost. I mean,
Except
they're bringing
Cha-Cha.
normal type Pokemon to a fucking fighting dojo. It's like,
Yeah, that's me. That was actually King Boo who did
to
that.
be fair, I did that also. Because I couldn't get a perfect link, and I tried. But so the bias is, from what I've seen, and then I confirmed before this, the Pokemon, the warrior's like default Pokemon type is probably likelier to be the type of Pokemon that they will want to bond with on the battlefield. So, for example, if you've got an electric type warrior and they've already got a Shinx, well, I found this out, like they probably will be predisposed to link with like another electric Pokemon.
Right. Okay.
The only option that I ever saw on a battlefield in Violight was like Pichu, and that had a good potential linking, and I was like, I don't want that. The problem is I don't want
Well, it
that.
evolves into Pikachu eventually.
Yeah, but I like Shinx and Luxio and Luxray. So
yeah, I know you do.
I'm fine with that.
And all of that is manifest on the battlefield by little medallions over the wild Pokemon's head.
Right. And
it'll either be a bronze or a silver or a gold, and you know how strong the link is.
And then, so say you're in a battle and like, you know what, I want this Pichu. It's got a gold medallion. This is going to be even better than the Shinx that I have. I'm going to go try and link up with it. So then you have to stroll up with the Pokemon, sidle up to the Pokemon you want to link with, and then you select Link.
Yeah.
And then it's a mini game.
And then you're in a rhythm mini game.
Yeah, rhythm mini game.
In, like,
it's
DDR.
so bizarre. This part's bizarre. It's basically just like there's a little ring at the right side of the screen, and then from the left side, better like medallions or little circles come flying by at a varying pace, and then you need to try to hit A when they're like directly in the circle on the other side.
Yeah.
And it's fucking tough.
It is a little tough unless you're a trained Taiko drum master like I am.
You landed some links?
Oh yeah, I landed every link I engaged.
Like you were able to actually recruit them on?
Yeah, but I don't know what happens after that.
Wow.
I was hoping you would. You ever play Taiko Drum Master?
No.
Gotta get on that shit, man. It's good. It's a rhythm game. It comes with a little drum, and it's just drumming. It's like Guitar Hero, but just with one big,
or was that
like traditional Japanese.
One?
Oh yeah, that game was cool too.
I did like that bongo game, the Donkey.
God,
Kong
I'm such a sucker for like interesting controllers. I think I bought like as long as a game came with an interesting controller, like I bought that version of Resident Evil 4 that came with the little like chainsaw controller for the GameCube. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Did you get the Wii? Oh, you probably didn't have a Wii, but the Wii Resident Evil gun as well.
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, no, but I had a little bow or like a little
oh my god, the bow.
The little was it a bow or a crossbow that came with
the
Twilight Princess?
That's what I was trying to remember. I didn't play that on Wii. I played it on Wii U.
Oh, look at this guy.
I'm not a big fan of the weirdo peripherals.
Well, I love them.
I suppose you had the Mario Kart wheel as well.
Oh, sure. Everyone had that though. That was like, what a fun time to play games. I miss it so much. We were so wild back when the Wii came out. Everyone was into it.
Yeah. Well, why don't you don't do Labo, the Switch like thing where you can build? I've never seen anyone with it, so now I forget. But it was like you can turn the Joy-Cons into like
I've seen
camera or fucking whatever.
There's a guy, a Japanese guy.
How did they not do that with Pokemon Snap, by the way? It's still infuriating. But
oh yeah. There's a Japanese guy who does covers of popular Nintendo songs using the Labo piano.
Ooh, that's
because one of them was like a piano kit.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I could definitely hear that. Okay,
I'll put it. I'm gonna drop here's a little bit of it now. All right, and we're back.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I'm impressed. Actually link. Oh, so you don't know how to actually unlock the Pokemon that they have linked with?
No, I linked many Pokemon to many a warrior, but then I don't know what you do. What's step 2? You know, like where do they go?
On the castle select screen where you know that you have a warrior where it bonded with some other linked Pokemon, you hit info on the warrior, and then it will let you select.
Never explain this.
You had to, it's not explained. What's fascinating is that like there's very, very little exposition, and I know bug catchers, we've complained about having too much exposition recently.
Yeah.
So fair, here's our punishment. But what's also really funny to me is that you don't get really like any explanation of the rules of the mechanics other than like when Mitsunari is talking about delegating to castles, it's like 3 lines of dialogue, and then that's it. And then you get this like old professor shows up after Pugilis, and he's like yes, I'm an old professor warrior or whatever, and my time is coming soon, but I must impart wisdom on the next generation. And then it's like 2 options.
Yeah, the 2 options are
is like what the 3 stats are, which is just attack, defense, and speed, and he's explaining that.
Okay, but buddy, guess what? Figured that out about 4 castles ago.
And like move ranks, which is just saying that move ranks dictate the power of a move and its after effects. And like getting the best move, so this relates to the link thing, you need to have a 100% link, aka the perfect link, to the Pokemon. And then you'll get, the best, whatever their best move is.
Yeah, because every now and then...
That's it from this guy.
I know. And then he dies. Like, that's literally... Josh isn't joking. That's how he sets it up. This guy comes, and he's like, what's his name?
I think it's just Professor.
It's just the Professor. That's literally what he says. He's like, I've been studying my whole life. I know so much about Pokemon, and now I'm going to die, so I came to share my wisdom with you, young warlord.
Yeah.
And then he tells you 2 things that you already know, and then dies.
I think he just dies in the middle of an explanation because he didn't really go into very much detail.
While you're leveling your Pokemon, because every time you beat a battle, if you use the Pokemon in the battle, it can level up, or the link becomes stronger. And every now and then you'll get a little pop-up that one of their moves or their move has gotten stronger as well. And I think that is what this old man was talking about before he unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, it's like R.I.P. rest in petals to the professor.
Yeah.
But they can have move power between like 40 and 100%. So I think that's like they'll level up in between there.
Yeah.
But the only way to get 100 is that you have to find this perfect link. Sorry, that the link level is between 40 and 98. And then only 100% gets the top tier, like move. So they all relate to each other. I don't
understand a word you're saying.
Just listen back to the tape.
I played the game.
Makes perfect sense.
So once you're done with Pugilis and Violight, then...
Well, I didn't really go into Violight.
Oh, you didn't spend
the
any
battle
time in there?
No, I mean, we should talk about the
Let's talk about some of these freaks we met along the way.
Yeah.
Pugilis is headed up by a big samurai guy with a big mustache named Yoshihiro.
Yeah.
And he's got a girder who has Wake Up Slap, which is a 3-star move. And it sucks, by the way, Wake Up Slap, because what it does is...
Oh my god, yeah.
It hits you, and it hits you pretty hard, and then pushes you back 1 square as well. Which is, to Josh's point earlier, how he kept knocking all of my Pokemon off the King of the Hill.
Yeah, and I was just using Eevee and Jigglypuff as meat shields to essentially, like, guard the choke points.
Yeah.
But as soon as the girder, like, sauntered up to my Jigglypuff, he did 1 wake-up slap, and it did, like, 500 damage.
Yeah.
And it's just the lights out.
Wild. My method for Pugilis Gym was... I had Eevee and Jigglypuff parked on the flags because when you're parked on a flag, you're healing.
Right.
And you need to keep the flags for 5 turns to win the level. And then I had Carnivine parked at 1 choke point and Sawaddle parked at another because their Pokemon just like are completely ineffective against grass type for some reason.
Right.
Like it's not that...
Well, fighting is just not very effective on grass.
It's just not very effective against it. Yeah. So they could take a lot of the hits. And then I had Charmeleon and Darumaka parked behind them.
Darumaka.
Because all the fire type Pokemon do attack 2 squares in front of them.
Yeah.
So this little like bottleneck, like his girders and his fucking timbers kept coming up to try to fight my Pokemon. And then they would just get burned to death by Charmeleon and Darumaka. It worked really. It was a choice strategy for this level.
Yeah, after Jigglypuff passed away, I was like,
Jigglypuff like can just sit there and heal everyone too.
Yeah, I started using Eevee as the like banner guardian.
Yeah.
But I repositioned where at this point why Violight was important for me to talk about is that while I like grounded out in, whatever area in Violight, and at this point I had acquired Rufflet and a Starly and a Ralts. So
Yeah.
I had all 3 of them, plus Charmander and then Jigglypuff and Eevee. So after the Jigglypuff's out, I was like, okay, we're going to change this whole strategy. I moved Rufflet up front because I had discovered that Starly, unfortunately, just had quick attack, even though it's, flying as well. But
Yeah.
so I had Starly running around and basically trying to get them to, like, go after it, because they would do not very effective attacks.
Have we ever analyzed why flying is super effective against fighting? It just seems like they just needed something and they're like, I don't know, flying? Like, why is flying so super effective against fighting?
It is not clear now that I really think about it. I mean, just because, like, fighting is so, like, they're like, I don't know. Their feet are always on the ground or something like that.
I guess. Maybe it's like Rocky where he chased around that chicken.
Yeah, that's what
remember?
that's what it's inspired by.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any flying types for this.
That is rough, because I had a pretty easy time after that. I just had Rufflet up front using wing attack and just, like, nearly one-hit KOing them. Then I had Charmander, who has the 2 square, so then they're in the fire zone. And then Ralts is 3 square, so then I had Ralts after that, and then
Ralts
it's popping
has
off
confusion.
confusions.
Yeah.
So
I even, at the beginning of Pugilis, you're warned. Someone's like, this is a good castle to bring lots of flying and psychic type Pokemon to. And I was like, yeah, I would love to if you had given me
Luigi
any.
says that.
But not realizing that I was supposed to go to Violight first. But
Yeah.
I got it done. I drove off that big
Respect it.
mustachioed samurai.
Did you collect any of these warriors?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I collected every warrior I could.
I mostly did.
I've got 4 full castles and 1 castle with 2 warriors in it.
Okay, so you definitely did get more than me.
I've
So
got a
you
lot of
discovered,
guys.
I think that we were, like, confused, and I did not remember this, that it was, like, not totally random when you're able to collect. It's random when they show up at the castle unless you have the searching engaged for the delegation. But the way that you actually get the warrior is that you either need to end the battle within 4 turns, you need to
Not a
kill
problem for me.
the Pokemon that you want to collect with a super effective move, or win without taking any damage.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I think later on when they get their more powerful Mon, there might be other, like, special conditions, but I figured that out after I'd already done some clearings of areas, so I guess that's why I caught fewer, it seems like.
Yeah, I think I just I'm like you in a normal Pokemon game where I'm just super speedy. I get in, I get the job done, and I get out. No questions asked, like Jason Bourne over here.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did in Violight. So Violight is run by a young woman named Ginchio.
That's right.
She's a new war lady.
She's got, like, a Valkyrie costume. It's great.
Yeah, she's new to the scene. She's constantly getting mocked by just random men.
It's true.
I don't know who this Munashige is, but he's a real
canceled.
prick to Ginchio.
He's a misogynist, is what he is, Tanner.
He is a misogynist. But she's like, well, whatever. Like, come attack my castle. Her castle is a big grid of electricity.
Yeah.
And every now and then she'll hit a switch to turn on, like, a zone, one of, like, a quadrant, and everyone in that quadrant gets zapped. Not an issue for me, Josh, because I brought all plant type Pokemon.
Oh, that was your strategy.
Yep. Well, actually, I had Onyx with me too, but
Yeah. I did mostly bring, I had Carnivine, Sawaddle, Cottony, and then I had a Wooper so it's ground, so they couldn't do anything. Although the Wooper is bad. Like, its water gun always is like 9 damage, but they also literally couldn't damage it.
Also, Onyx stinks too, because Onyx, first of all, his move isn't that powerful, Rock Smash. But second of all, it misses constantly.
That's bizarre.
Like, I think it's only got an 80% hit rate. So it was just constantly missing. It was so annoying. And I think it maybe hits flying type Pokemon even less, because I kept trying to hit, like, someone's got a Starly. Minashuge's got a Starly here. And I kept trying to hit Starly with Rock Smash, and it just kept missing. So
no, the Starly's no good anyway, so
yeah, and then you beat her, and she's like, congratulations, here's my castle. And then she joins your team, unlike the guy in Pugilis, who just fucks off.
Yeah, he got away with the girder. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did get a Timber out of that, but
yeah, I got a Timber
not girder.
too, but I assume we'll see him again at some point. He sort of menacingly says we will.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. And then we've got our little teams, and we start building up our little bases, and we start raking in the gold and the experience.
Of management. Yeah.
We've got another map, another castle on the map, Chrysalia, and Yoshimoto has already been taunting us. He's already been sending us little missives saying, "Come and get me." We were also warned this week, Joshua, that in addition to invading other castles, it is possible for our castles to be invaded too.
Right.
It never happened to me. Did it happen to you?
No, but I did know that. So, like, the general guidance is that you should at least have a warrior at every castle.
Yeah.
As defense. Because, like, they can get attacked, but if you have no one there to defend it, you basically have to go back and take it again.
Right.
But, one is not great. So you do want to recruit more warriors and have, I would recommend, like, 3 at least.
Right. I think that's a good idea. And you have to pay attention to the links between the castles too, because like, what's our main castle called? Aurora? Like Aurora is only linked to Greenleaf, Ignis, and Fontaine. So you probably don't have to keep anyone there if you're stacked up in those 3 castles. And similarly, I think Pugilis is sort of a choke point as well. So there's sort of these strategic places where you can set up bigger armies and be a little bit more protected against these non-existent NPC invasions.
Right. It's going to happen at some point.
They should remake this game for mobile, man, because it would be so fun to like invade other people's
so easy
kingdoms.
God, that would be great.
Build up your own little Pokemon team, guard your castle, invade others. That would be so fun.
I can see the display ad now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. That's just minting money, Nintendo. That's another free idea.
Yeah, that's a free one. We'll record an anchor spot about it, and then you can just have it, Nintendo.
And then maybe you'll let us have all of our merch that we want to put on the website up in the store again in exchange.
All right, Josh. Well, do you want to talk about our teams?
Yeah, link check?
Link check. Yes. As we've said, we exposed ourselves to a lot of different new Pokemon this week.
Mm-hmm.
For once, our teams should, with the exception of Eevee and Jigglypuff, who we both still have. Maybe there's going to be a little bit more variety on our teams this week.
I hope so.
Who's Joshua working with?
Joshua is working with the classic Eevee.
Yeah.
It's 201. And I should say, like, this is the team that I went into the last castle I did, Pugilis. So this is my, team currently, although most of them were involved for most of this, other than Carnivine, who is not in this list currently.
Yeah.
Jigglypuff, Oichi, 182.
Pretty good.
Takatora.
Actually, you know what? I keep saying pretty good. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Is that good?
I think it's kind of arbitrary right now, but I think it's pretty good for where we are.
Yeah, okay.
Anything that's like high, I don't know, 150 or above feels
They're pretty
good.
strong. Eevee and Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff's got 1,000,000 hit points and heals. And like her heal radius is like so unpredictable. Was it unpredictable for you too? I couldn't figure out.
Well, it shows it with the highlighted yellow, doesn't it? I think.
I don't think so. Does it?
It's always adjacent Pokemon, but the distribution can change where it's not always like the left and the right. It might be top, bottom, left, right, or just top, bottom, or, whatever. Or maybe even the entire radius. I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I was always surprised at how many allies her heals hit.
Yeah. I mean, that one is probably the best power-up I have so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I'm trying to think if there's anything better, but I don't think so. They also, all the Pokemon have this like hidden ability too. I'm not even sure what Jigglypuff's hidden ability is sleep. So it randomly triggers this ability every now and then that like will put a random Pokemon to sleep. Eevee's is celebration. So if you get a really good hit, there's a chance that you could just move again. Take your turn again.
And it triggers automatically if you KO. Then you get to
the Pan Monkeys, who this game insists I play with.
Oh.
All have melee, so if they're adjacent to a Pokemon that one of your teammates is attacking, they'll also do some like a follow-up melee attack.
They throw in like an opportunity attack.
Yeah, and then everyone else has some too, but I can't remember what.
Those are all the ones that I remember too. Those are the most iconic ones.
Yeah, those are the iconic ones. Who else?
Takatora, who has Charmeleon,
Mm-hmm.
181, although mine evolved after Pugilis, so I haven't gotten to use it in battle yet, but I'm excited.
Fun.
Kanamori, Timber, 169.
Ooh, you went with the Timber.
Yeah.
I think Girder's so ugly, I don't think I could run a Timber.
Oh, I
think Machamp is ugly too, though.
Well, it's my only fighting type, so I want to have it.
Yeah.
For now, at least. And I guess I should say that's only swapped in after I recruited that warrior after this battle. I went into it with Starly, as I mentioned. Starly is Minasuji.
Munashige.
It feels bad. Munashige, all right, has a Starly. And Starly went into this battle with me, and I think it was like a 161 or something. I don't remember. Yeah. And the Timber is 169. And then we have Saizu, which is a Ralts, and it's 126, because I only got to use that once.
Yeah, I haven't used my Ralts much either yet.
And then Hisahide Rufflet.
Yes, that little Rufflet.
200, and it is also Joshy's sweetie.
I was going to say, man, what a little cutie that little Rufflet is.
It's so shrunken. The shrunken down big head thing really works for Rufflet.
Yeah, it works for so few of these Pokemon. Carnivine looks like a nightmare.
Yeah.
But it works for Rufflet.
Cthulhu shit. Yeah, Rufflet. I mean, there's, I think we shared or we will share the catalog that we found of the Pokemon Conquest sprites, because you kind of have to just like,
you gotta see.
There's no other way to find them, and they're so tiny. But the Rufflet's got some nice, like, kind of boundless energy, and it's just a big head and little wings, and it's fucking great. It's got wing attack. It was just
who else was pretty cutie? Joltik. It works.
Ooh, Joltik, I didn't get to see a Joltik.
The little chibi sprites work well for Joltik. He's just kind of a cutie little bug.
Yeah, I could see that. I didn't encounter one in Violight, though.
And then I'm assuming you have a sea of other warriors kind of parked in other castles.
Yeah, I guess I'm not going to go through all of them, because that would just get monotonous. But I've got, I think I have 10.
Ooh,
10 others.
Okay. Well, King Boo, as you know, canonically is King Boo from the Mario games before he's a ghost.
Right, and that's Samurai canon also.
Yep, and all the warriors that I'm working with become Boos in the Mario canon.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's it's straightforward.
King Boo has his Eevee still, 192. Oichi has her Jigglypuff still, 197. I'm running Ginshoyo, which you've elected not to do.
Oh, I do have Shinx. I was running Shinx for a lot of this. I just did not bring it to Pugilis.
Yeah, 121. Takanobu has the Onyx at 160. I think Takanobu's look is really cool. I'm not loving the Onyx, to be honest, but...
Maybe you should rebond him.
Maybe I will. I think I already have caught a different, or linked with a different Pokemon with Takanobu. I just think Takanobu looks cool. He's like the most samurai-y of the samurais.
Yeah, super classic style. Oh, I found a website, vkun.com. It lists out Takanobu's perfect links.
Oh, really?
The Pokemon that he bonds with the best. It's Munchlax and Snorlax.
Oh, yes. Yes. Are you kidding me?
Oops, sorry.
Takanobu, you're going to be on the team till the bitter end if I can find a Snorlax or a Munchlax.
Yeah, Onyx is not even on this list. So
yeah. And then I have Takeyoshi, who has Carnivine. God, this Carnivine. 220 is its power. By far the most powerful Pokemon on my team. Just bring it in every battle. It just mops up. And then I also have Saizo.
That is very powerful.
I have Saizo with her little Ralts, 116.
Nice.
And then I don't, I also have, let me see. 1, 2, 6 times 3 is what? So I have 20. I have 20 additional
Holy
warriors.
Shit.
Parked in castles. Notably,
some work to do.
Rikyu with his little Darumaka. Darumaka's also pretty fun. Darumaka's got like flame spin, so it attacks 2 tiles away but ends up 1 tile away.
That's good.
Which is pretty cool. And then Chaka. I love Chaka. Chaka's my favorite NPC so far. She's like this princess who has an Ekans and loves the thing. Ekans is not very good. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it can poison, obviously.
Right.
And then in Pugilis City, in Violight, there's a character called Soren who is Ginchiyu's like right-hand man.
Oh yeah, I experienced Soren as well.
He's my trainer danger. He looks like a creep, and he also has a Panpour, and that's my You Make Me Barf Pokemon of the week.
That's a bad combo.
The whole unit, I don't care for. Soren and its ugly little Panpour. But I did delegate Pugilis. I did put Pugilis Castle in his control.
Oof,
so he has
dicey.
a chance to prove himself to me. And if he fails me, he's out on his ass.
Although
I have not totally
him a
figured out
chance.
a way to kick people off of the teams yet. Have you?
No, I imagine once you run out of space, you can like send them off the island. I can't really remember.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm
looking
gonna say,
forward
I
to
don't know
it.
if we want to do this because this is a dangerous thing to know about. Because I feel like I could get too involved with this, and I'm trying to take it easy. But
Oh no, I love this game. I'm probably gonna
that
play this game
Vicun-
after we're done with it too.
so the website VEE, that's a V and two E's,
Okay.
KUN.com. That's what I
Yeah.
just found accidentally. It's got an entire dex of the warriors, and it lists out their best Perfect Link Mon. So
Yes. Oh, you're gonna get schooled next week.
yeah, this is a really good website. I was
Handing out a
looking
lot of
for-
freebies tonight.
Yeah. Well,
All right, Joshua.
Yeah.
Well, that's our team, and those are the castles we've conquered this week. 3 more on the horizon for next week. It's obviously Chrysalis has been
Chrysalis.
teasing us already, so we're gonna have to go teach them a lesson about respect.
As well as Terrera and
warfare.
Illusio.
Yeah, Terrera and Illusio.
They're
I bet I know what each of
illusions.
those is. Violight was the only one that was a little surprising.
Yeah, that was the electric one. If that was
Did you do the power plant too while you were in Violight?
No, I was going to comment on I can't believe I missed that.
That's how I caught the Joltik.
Okay. So it's just a different area there?
So the power plant, you go in and you turn it on and you get a little gold, and then one of the 2 zones, like the waterfall or the farm, will suddenly have a swarm, and it'll have like 3 little Pokemon symbols on it. And then if you go into battle in there, new Pokemon will keep joining every turn, and you can fight them or capture them.
Well, I'm going to have to do that.
That's how I caught that little.
I was going to say that
Joltik.
Pugilis has a new terrain type as well, which is just a mine. And
Oh,
you can
yeah.
just go in there
You just
and
go
start
and-
mining, and it's
collect
seemingly just choose whatever Pokemon, and then you get free gold.
Well, each of the Pokemon also has stats, so like
Yeah.
you want the strongest Pokemon on your team for mining, and you want the wisest Pokemon on your team for the power plant.
And the shops will be influenced by having the most charisma.
Charisma, right, which is
Yeah.
always Oichi.
That's what I do too.
So yeah, we'll be back for those 3 castles next week. If you haven't picked up the game yet, go pick it up. It's really genuinely just a ton of fun.
And we're giving you all these resources. You can
Yeah.
be the best warlord you can be.
No, they couldn't, because I'm the best warlord there is.
It seems like Tanner is gunning to be the best warlord.
I think that's it, Joshua.
That's it.
This has been Experience Share. It's a Pokemon podcast starring me, Tamber, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Josh Lee Puff. Please do rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, and do follow the show everywhere that you follow podcasts. And do follow us on Instagram and Twitter at EXPSharePod.
Check out our subreddit, reddit.com/r/bugcatchers. Can't wait to see the Pokemon Conquest stuff. I saw there was a thread with people planning to play, so that's exciting. And check out our merch, expsharemerch.com.
And start thinking about XY carts, too, because
Oh, yeah.
that's coming up. We only have a few more weeks of this, and then we're going to go right into
I hope I kept that one. I gotta check.
X
I
and Y
played that.
feels like oddly modern to me, you know? Like, Black and White 2 still felt like old Pokemon games, but X and Y
Yeah.
is like, no, I was like an adult.
Oh,
when it came
we're
out.
not that far away from the current generation.
I know.
It's pretty far away.
Freaking me out. They just got to keep coming out with new Pokemon games so we can keep doing the podcast.
Well, I don't think they're going to stop doing that. So
Yeah. In fact, every indication is that they're just going to do more and more and more.
yeah, it seems like they tend to want to expand the Pokemon universe. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right,
us.
Bugcatchers, we will see you next week in the next castle.
Smell ya later.